Chris, would you motivate this motion?
Yeah, I think it's quite simple. What we're asking for is for programmers who receive foundation funding to disclose that foundation funding in detail. We're not asking for them not to receive it. We're just asking them to disclose it. And that's basically, in a nutshell, what this motion is for, creating some thresholds where small amounts of money don't need to be disclosed. I'd say in excess of $5,000 a year. If someone's getting help on production, that's not really relevant. But or if someone's receiving more than $25,000, that they need to disclose it for 3 years in going back. Really, the objective of this is to have Amy Goodman tell us where she's getting the money and what the money's buying. The reason that I created this motion is because there has been a lot of debate about whether or not Amy Goodman has received CIA conduit foundation funding from the Ford Foundation and other places, known, long-time suspected of being conduits for CIA funding, and she is accused, or not accused, but the issue is raised that she has received Ford Foundation for 9/11 coverage. Now, I'd like to know if that's actually the case, and I think a lot of people associated with Pacifica would like to know, because we'd like to know what kind of 9/11 coverage the Ford Foundation paid for, and we'd like to know what we're getting for our money, and what kind of influences that money has created, and the whole issue of Amy Goodman and 9/11 has been an ongoing one for years and years and years, one that she has consistently ducked, and I would like to create a set of conditions whereby she can't duck it anymore, and those conditions may, this whole thing may really manifest itself in contract negotiations with Democracy Now! In the future, particularly whether or not she complies with this. If she doesn't comply, there's nothing we can do about it. I specifically don't want enforcement mechanisms here. It's just policy. And then the issue becomes whether people do or do not comply with the policy. And if people don't comply with the policy, that might be a factor in whether or not their programs stay on the air, or whether or not their contracts get renewed, or whether or not their contracts get renewed at the same level. So I specifically don't want to agree to any changes that would exclude Democracy Now! From this policy. And I'm only using Democracy Now! As an example. This is not going after her. It's just a convenient example.